Hello and welcome to a very special episode of Binge Watch. I'm very happy to be joined today by, I'm gonna say, reality TV legends. They appeared on the latest series of Big Brother. They are Jordan and Henry. Hello.
Hello.
Or Henry and Jordan. Which way do
I
we
would
say
say
it?
because H comes before J.
Yeah, but then Jenry's become a thing. So like
Yes,
J.
True.
but then there's Horden.
Horden?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I suppose.
Well, I didn't think they'd be really shipping us as they did, you know.
Well, I mean, they only were because you were, like, taking us 3 times. Right.
I know, I feel very guilty about it. Henry has received many a teddy bear jumper in apology.
Go! I just think it was subliminally adding to the hysteria. And then, look, you made it to the final and then you won.
Yes, I know, I don't
That's
know how.
good. But hey, love won.
Yes, exactly.
And I said the other day, because it was vote to evict, wasn't it, until the last week?
It was.
I was like, well, maybe people thought they were voting to evict me, ergo I won.
Mr. Humble over there.
I know.
Yeah. So how's life been since then?
Well, bloody whirlwind.
Yeah.
The first month, well, late November, then early December, I didn't really know much of what was going on. But now I do. I've regained consciousness, and so it's fabulous. I can't complain.
It's great.
We're moving in together on Saturday.
Are you actually?
Am I allowed to?
Oh wow,
That's an exclusive.
that's lovely.
Yes, moving to Chelsea, so
Very good.
I mean, it's just crazy. It sounds really naive when I say this to people, and sometimes they don't really believe me. But you don't really realise that anyone was watching
Really?
when you're in there.
Yeah.
And that's the shock when you come out to realise that it's become such a huge
because
thing.
when I was in the spare room, we had the opportunity to watch the show back, and they were all singing, cavorting. I thought, who the hell would want to watch this? I thought it was a load of tripe.
It's boring.
And so we in the spare room we were talking. We were like, oh yeah, no one's watching this. It's, you know, it's equivalent to CBeebies. But the way they edit it is, it actually comes out quite well. And I said when I was in that cage, incarcerated, I'm so glad they edit this show.
Yeah.
The raw footage. I know people want the live streams back, but no, you don't. I know they get 3 or
But
4 hours.
Isn't it mad that there were people like just basically compiling every single detail of what happened in the live stream?
Yes.
You know, for people like me to then look at the next day or whatever.
People were sat watching that live stream, which was mainly bird noise and kind of. Apparently there was a whole 25 segment most nights of me making tea and wandering around, and they called it Henry Cam. I think one of the cameramen was clearly very interested in this.
And the thing I find fascinating is people are still re-watching those live streams to fall asleep and whatever, and you know, they're that dull.
What was for you the most surprising thing that hit you kind of, or I guess a few months after leaving the house, like about the response or about just like, yeah, just from the fan reaction?
I heard that I got the villain edit midway, but you know, I still came out victorious. What surprises me is that I was so bloody blind to how much Henry was pining over me. But the thing is, because I genuinely didn't know until I was basically told. But yes, the infamous hot tub thing when Henry's got his pinky finger in his mouth staring at me when I've got my back turned.
By the way, before it began, I went into the house on a little tour and I thought, I could not live in this house. When you walked in, because it's so bright.
I know.
When you walked in, you're like, oh God.
Yes. I thought it was like a CBeebies set or something. I hated it.
I think one of the worst things about it was how they woke you up in the morning, because you'd be fast asleep, and then all of a sudden the lights just turn on, and then they start playing this alarm noise, and they play like the sounds of diggers, like roadworks if you fall asleep.
Would they? So like, because obviously that's bad TV, isn't it?
Yeah.
Snapping. Did you like, when on eviction nights especially, like just hear things going on outside? Because it's just there, isn't it?
That was terrifying, because
Yeah.
it's literally, you've been in the house, it's just like a paper thin wall between the garden and where the live thing is. And I felt it was as if our property was being invaded by these hordes of fans. I love you all.
And you'd say, here comes the renter mob.
No, because the thing is, they were told, I believe, the first week, don't chant at all. But then the second week, I'm not sure, someone said to them, oh yeah, just chant. And so she wasn't even up for eviction, but when we heard Get Carey Out just being chanted, Henry and I were taken aback, and we went aside afterwards and discussed, what's going on?
Yeah.
What is this?
It's AJ and Will.
It was like there was a lot of feedback on, I think, as well beforehand, which you probably wouldn't have been aware of at the time. There was a lot of kind of like videos of like, be kind, don't chant. And then there was a lot of criticism about just like it seemed kind of just lifeless. Like Big Brother is Big Brother because of the chanting and whatever. And then they
They went for it. They made up for not chanting in week 1.
But to be fair, I think we were very, very prepared for that long in advance as well, and we were talked about the risks and everything, and even kind of said it's kind of a pantomime, and kind of you got to see it as being that kind of spirit of the audience having the sort of chanting or
it still doesn't help though, thinking it's a pantomime. Because I was always, we were all listening and people mishear things, so I thought I heard my name and then you'd be overthinking it for the remainder of the night. I think the VTs were probably the most manufactured part of the whole show, because that really does misrepresent you, I find. People might think I'm posh, but I'm not.
It's funny because I always kind of think I want to do something like it, and then when I watch the VTs at the beginning, I cringe so much. They are like the most cringy aspect, and I think of myself, I'm like, I would literally, everyone I know would be like, what is he doing?
And I was so happy that the audience on launch night didn't get to see the VTs before you came out.
Yeah.
Because I could have had a different reaction.
My VT experience, because I've never done anything like that before, and oh God, they were like, oh, will you lie on the floor, will you do this, will you dance?
What were they asking you?
Off. I like to think at the end of the day, Big Brother is a social experiment at its core, and we're simply the lab rats. And, you know, they do try to humiliate you, but it's not, I wouldn't say it's similar to other TV shows where they have a kind of, they have an earnest premise at its core, but then they do just mock you.
But I also think that there's an element of just embracing all that silliness. For me, inside there, I was thinking, when else in the world can you dress up as an ant for like 2 days? Like, I mean, it was quite nice just to let yourself be a bit silly for 6 weeks.
I'm being serious again, everyone's serious, we're dressed up as ants.
And like, it would have been weird not to do that, because you have to do that to get your food.
Yeah.
It's like, this is like the accepted thing to this week.
It was almost acceptable.
Yeah.
The thing is, it's just incredibly psychological how when they would wake us up and when they'd let us go to bed, or you know, and how they would feed us too. Because on the ant task, we only had sweet food. We didn't have any other type of food.
Really?
And then for the Big Wigs task, that we only had, you know, middle management and the bottoms. How lewd. We only had, you know, we had a very limited food intake, whereas you were being overfed up in the mezzanine, which you could not leave.
They almost gave the 3 of us food enough for the whole house, but then put it up like on display so that everyone downstairs could see. You know, I thought that task was so clever because it kind of really like was so representative of
spanner in the
society.
The us and them mentality. That was brilliantly designed, I think, that task.
My most frustrating thing is when like people moan about the task. It's like, why are you in Big Brother if you're going to moan about the task? That is the show.
But they punish you,
Yeah.
and it changes everything. Like the ant task, we could only walk on a route system, and we couldn't deviate from that.
They underplayed some of those harder bits actually. Like for example, on that ant task with the eating, literally all we could eat was cakes, chocolates, macaroons, like everything. I mean, initially we saw it, we're like, oh my God, look, all of these gorgeous treats.
'Cause we were on
and then it suddenly realised that that's all we were eating for 2 days.
Because we were on a very restricted shopping budget the week before, whereby we had no sweet things, and you know we were just eating chicken thighs or something.
And we were getting sugar highs, sugar lows.
Yes,
But I think
yes.
I'd genuinely have rather have eaten a live widgety grub than some of the food that I've served in the house.
Really?
Yeah, like
That bad?
some of it. I mean, sometimes it got pretty dire. Like when you ran out of food, you ran out of food.
Yeah.
I remember kind of saw this kind of tomato puree and tin tuna with. They just kind of put any can that they had left into a pan and served it as food. It was really bad.
That is, I mean, this seems like the perfect time to, and you could probably predict what I'm going to say, pot noodle and mayonnaise. Made me want to vomit when I watched the TV.
It was okay. Because it was a curry flavour, and you know, whenever you have a curry, you have chapati breads and stuff.
Yeah.
I always insist on buttering them. So it tasted similar to that.
So I had a bit, okay.
So it gave it a
makes
buttery
no sense.
taste. Yes, it did.
I'm
darling.
sat here like, oh yeah,
Don't try
I
and
get
agree.
it.
Did it curdle? Yes.
That's
Was it
all-
okay? Yes.
Okay.
It is curdling.
The word curdle just gets me mad. When mayonnaise, because I hate mayonnaise for like Hellmann's.
Yeah.
I like it, you know, like aioli or whatever, which is.
Oh no! Oh gosh, you and I will fall out about this. I
Really?
love Hellmann's mayonnaise. Keep that in. I was not paid to say that, but hopefully I'll be paid soon.
You're going
by
to be
then.
inundated with Hellmann's, mate. Yeah.
And he taught me about the beauty of a crisp sandwich. You put mayonnaise in your crisp sandwich.
Well, yeah,
You got a big fan of
mayonnaise and butter.
you don't get your mayonnaise deal at some point, then
You've got to get it. It's mayonnaise and butter. That's a lot of.
But it has to be Hellman's. I'm not even just saying that. I really love Hellman's mayonnaise. Heinz mayonnaise.
Are you a ketchup man?
Yeah, ketchup I'm not too fussy with, but mayonnaise, Hellman's mayonnaise, all day long.
What, you having mayo there?
In your noodles? You're having mayo in your noodles?
I love Hellman's mayonnaise.
Talk to me a bit about the kind of. Well, I guess your relationship with social media has drastically changed.
Yes.
You yourself were on TikTok before?
yeah, I was doing bits and bobs, but still not on the platform as it's got to
It's
now.
blown
yeah.
up as, yeah. So talk to me about your relationship with social media now and your fan base and your followership.
At first I thought it was a bit crazy, but now I find it very endearing. And people do go to such an effort to, record what food we eat, record every piece of clothing we wear. And yeah, I mean, I suppose in the long run, it might be good for those brand deals.
Yeah.
It might help us get noticed.
I mean, in for a penny, mate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So thank you, you're all helping us.
It is bizarre though, isn't it? I think as well, it took us a little while to realise that everything we do is like, will just spread like wildfire, even if it's like a quick tweet or something, it just goes crazy. So I think that was a very surreal thing.
And as aforementioned, I thought TikTok was a ghastly platform, but now I really enjoy just filming crap and uploading it,
Yeah.
and people like it. Whereas Instagram, I suppose you've got to be a bit more polished.
I mean, on a night out with your friends, you can't just recklessly post on your story like you used to. So,
I mean, I've never recklessly posted post Big Brother, have I? Declaring you were my boyfriend at 1 a.m.
oh yeah, that was really interesting.
I was like, they did it, guys.
I woke
overnight.
up in the morning, I was like, oh, I've got a weird feeling something's happened overnight. Turned on the radio, Capital FM, it was like, Big Brother stars Henry and Jordan are official. And I was like, oh, Jordan, did anything happen while I was asleep?
I mean, bringing like the fear of the night before, new meanings, right?
Yes,
If
absolutely.
I woke up and something that I did drug was on the radio, I think I'd have a meltdown.
I mean, it got us to where we now are.
It's great. It's all part of the journey.
Yes.
Where do you draw the line though? I guess there's like times where you're just like, I guess our fans would like to see this or whatever, but actually I can't be bothered today. Like, have you had days where you're like, I can't be bothered with social media today? I'm not gonna do it at all.
Absolutely, because, and I mentioned this the other day in something we did, we definitely have that public side to our relationship, but then the private side for me always will take precedence. And sometimes we do like to have, dinners where we don't really look at our phones, but you do sometimes feel that obligation that, oh no, we must post something, we must, and it's just getting out of that mindset.
100%.
Because I do like just ambling around art galleries by myself and having that downtime, building Lego.
A Celebrity Big Brother is coming out soon, actually. Who would be your picks?
Ooh.
I mean, obviously there's the dream list. Whether or not they're going to be the people in there or not is something else.
Do you want to
We
go
would actually
there?
talk about this,
Yes.
won't we?
So for me, I would say probably Dorinda Medley from Real Housewives of New York. Ozzy Osbourne, love him to go in.
I would love to see like a Nigella in there. I think it should be quite good.
They'd be happy as well, obviously.
I know.
For the food.
Because we see her being fabulous on her TV shows, but I want to see what she's like to live with, you know. I think these are quite foodie. Stanley Tucci, I think in the house he'd be very good at sort of making people martinis and making them pasta, talking about his dinners with Meryl Streep.
Yeah, he'd be good for an anecdote.
Yeah, 100%.
Thank you so much for your time today. It was really lovely
Thanks for
to have you
having
in.
us.
Yeah, but no, thank you.
Yes, thanks for
really
having
lovely
us,
to have
honestly.
you.
Brilliant to be here.